What's up with you guys? This the kid still sitting me coming back to you for another video, man. I'm just playing NCAA right now, just chilling for the most part. Nothing too serious, man. But if you see the title right now, we are talking about something, man, college football related, that I think really needs to be talked about, especially around this time and everything else. So, but yeah, you guys, this topic for this video is, should the college football playoff be expanded, and by how much? Sports is all about growth, and if a sport cannot grow, then it just becomes the same old ish for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Expansion teams, expanded playoffs, anything else. If those things don't happen, those leagues start to become stale for the most part, you know, without, you know, really having more to bring. That's why you see, you know, the NFL like recently just said that they were going to think about, you know, adding 2 more teams in other cities. That's why I'm seriously pushing for the NBA to bring the NBA to Pittsburgh. I want an NBA team. I think this is something people have thought about for a really long time. I think it would be fun for the most part. And the reason why I think it would be fun for the most part is because, you know, we've never had a team and everything. I also would want the NBA to bring back the Seattle Supersonics. That has to happen. Come on now. One West Coast, one East Coast team. You get the Pittsburgh, whatever their name is, and you get the Seattle Supersonics back. Come on, man. That's something we all need. But yeah, as I'm saying, y'all, things like that rely on expanding and doing anything else. You won't be able to grow unless you expand. Of course, that's a part of growing. Duh. Let's be 100% honest. The college football playoff has not been exciting at all. We will literally sit there, pick the 4 quote-unquote best teams, and we see a blowout every single playoff game. It's insane. Now that's not saying that they don't pick the bad teams. It just means there hasn't been anything exciting for as much as we want to pick the best team about. So it's like, what do we really want for this, and how exciting is this playoff going to be? Yeah, it's fun. Yo, let's make sure we get to 4, you know, we get the 4 teams, the best 4 teams, and that's what it is all about. You know what I'm saying? The first year and the second year, they were so fun. A fun chase just to get into the college football playoff. But now it's just SOS. It feels like you really can't do much without just having Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, insert other team. You know what I'm saying? At this point, it is what it is. But let's talk, you know, plots. Let's talk about plot points in my video right now. So I strongly want people to actually, you know, consider expanding the playoff. And I want to say this right now. If you know somebody, or you see anybody in the comment section talking about, oh, the college football playoff is actually perfectly fine for it, they just got it. No, shut up. I'm not mean. I'm not a mean person. You got to tell those people to shut up. All right. If they really think that being at 4 teams is perfectly fine, think about it, y'all. It is now 2021. It started in 2015. We're 6 years, almost 7 years into the college football playoff. Something's got to change at some point. And when they realize that, they will stop being so close-minded. Because let's be 100% honest, being close-minded in college football is a bad mixture. You can't be closed-minded in collegiate sports. That's not fun. You just try to make it like, you know, professional wise. Yeah, I think that athletes should be professionally paid, and, you know, do whatever the case may be. But that doesn't mean you should take the fun away from collegiate sports. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I think expanding is literally the best thing. It's got to happen by the end of the decade. By 2030. I don't want to be 30 years old still looking at a college football playoff with 4 teams. Oh, that is so annoying. I'm sorry. I can't handle that. I genuinely can't handle that. I feel like I would just lose my interest in the sport that I grew up loving and watching for the whole entire, you know, my whole entire life for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So I really hope that doesn't happen. Now, how many teams do y'all think the college football playoff should have? Me personally, I did some long, hard thinking, y'all. And I'm just going to say like this. We need enough teams where games are going to matter because, you know, for like I said, for people that say, oh, it doesn't even matter. Oh, we're just expanding it for it to be Alabama and Clemson all over again. Dog, y'all can't think like that. That's not how the sport grows. Y'all got to think to yourself, anything can happen, and just be mindful that, dude, other teams are just as hungry to get into that position. The more, the better. That's what I say. So, after long thinking, I genuinely think the college football playoff should be expanded to 16 teams. I'm dead serious. 16 or 24, just like the oops, I didn't mean to press that. 16 or 24, just like the FCS. Why do I say that? Imagine a snowy playoff game in like, you know, in like Wisconsin or something, or Ohio State. Dog, that would be so fun. I don't care what any of y'all guys say. Y'all just think that, you know, since it's the playoff, it all got to be neutral sided. Dude, we could still keep the same, you know, 14 or not 14 playoff, but we could still keep the same 4 teams going neutral, or we could go 8 teams go neutral sided. In the first round is another home game for whatever the lower seed is. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like 16 would be the best because it would make it would what am I trying to say? I think go ahead. I think that the college football playoff should be expanded to 16 because as much as people said, oh, expanding it doesn't matter because it's just going to have Clemson, Alabama, or it's just going to make the regular season pointless. First of all, I don't know who said that. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever said. You obviously got to win in the regular season so you can make it into the playoffs. So, of course, the schedule, the season, the regular season matters. Duh. That's stupid. That's stupid to even bring that up. But here's what I'm saying. The more teams, the better. You put in 16 teams. But it also would make the ranking way more relevant. You know what I'm saying? I feel like over these past few years, for a group of 5 teams, it's almost like the rankings don't matter anymore because, you know, this, that, and the fourth. Cincinnati. Y'all remember when I was doing my little videos about the college football rankings and how Cincinnati was getting BS'd? Y'all witnessed it firsthand. How the hell did Ohio State keep growing with the case of, oh, well, you got to think to yourselves, Ohio State was affected by COVID. So that means that they can't really do much about that. And they kept going up, even though they only had like 1 or 2 ranked wins after the regular season ended. They had like 1 or 2 ranked wins. What was the point of that? It's almost like, you know, it's almost like their case was so much more relevant than Cincinnati simply because Ohio State was Ohio State. For example, they shouldn't even have been in a Big Ten championship game, and they basically got it handed to them and was like, oh, well, you know, that same situation that we gave to Wisconsin, it don't matter anymore. Let's just go ahead and let Ohio State get into the, you know, to the actual Big Ten championship game. That was BS. No disrespect. Indiana lost, but Indiana should have been in because rules are rules. Y'all got to live off that. And then at the end of the day, it was all about revenue. So it was like, oh, Cincinnati, you know, they're doing this and they're doing it handedly, you know, but they keep missing games because of COVID, so that's actually affecting them. They kept dropping down. That was the thing that hurt me the most. How are you going to have Cincinnati keep on winning these games handily, but still drop them for the same reason you have Ohio State going up for? You know what I'm saying? So I feel that the college football playoff ranking needs to be, it adds relevancy if you expand the playoff, because it can make sense as long as you realize that Cincinnati is still getting the respect they deserve. You're not going to mess around and put a two-loss USC team over an undefeated Cincinnati with a ranked win. No, there's no choice. You have no choice but to not do that. Because regardless, they're going to get into the playoff. They're going to do what they got to do. But it also adds relevancy to the college football playoff ranking, because it lets them know that group of 5 teams still have a better shot. I don't care how they look or who they almost lost to. Y'all use that to y'all advantage so many times where it doesn't make any sense. I'm saying if we just let the group of 5 teams get a chance, there won't be any complaining about, oh, who should beat or who shouldn't. But if y'all keep using, 3 or 4 lost teams to put in other teams that don't have any losses in the group of 5, side, I feel like that's where the BS will come in. That's where the complaining will start to happen. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like the college football playoff committee. Oh, and I'm going to talk about that too. The college football playoff committee shouldn't even be a thing. Remember when I told y'all the BCS wasn't bad? It just had to rank 2 of the best teams, and that ultimately messed everything up. That's what I mean. If they leave it to the computers just to rank them the way they should, I bet y'all there's no complaining about the BCS sitting there and ranking the college football playoff 1 through 16. I bet you there's no complaining. Well, I can't bet you on it, because regardless, there's always going to be some type of complaining. There's always going to be some type of complaining. But yeah, like I was saying, I just feel like if we go 16, we get a good amount. It makes the college football playoff ranking a little bit more relevant, and it makes there feel like there's actually a better chance for other teams. I know y'all are like, oh, well, the reason why y'all aren't in, the college football playoff rankings is because y'all don't play anybody, and that's their fault. Y'all do realize not every team can be put into a Power 5 situation. It doesn't work like that. For example, like, let's say Boise State. Understand, those things matter. I feel like Boise State possibly can, but I feel like, I don't know. I forgot, there was a reason why I didn't think that Boise State could go Power 5. I think it was because of, their stadium and not being able to fill much, or, anything else. I don't know. Something to that sort or that situation. But honestly, if you have an undefeated or 1-loss group of 5 team, I'm not holding that to their, situation, knowing good and well you're just going to give another chance to another, like, 2 or 3 loss Power 5 team. I don't care who they beat and everything. At the end of the day, they lost more. They gotta pay for that. And how many ranked wins do they have? Okay, if that group of 5 team has the same amount as the other one, they should be able to get over that team. There should not be any type of BS into that ranking, discussion. That's why I say you're better off doing the BCS. The BCS had a problem scheduling 1 and 2. Not 3 and 4, not 5 and 6, not 7 and 8, not 9 and 10, not 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on and so forth. They didn't have a problem with that. The problem was they couldn't rank 1 and 2. So if you let the computers do the rankings all over again, there will not be a single situation where they're like, oh, okay, well, it's obvious that the rankings are BS and everything. No, you can't really make that case for that, because at the end of the day, it's going to be about who lost, when did they lose, and how many quality wins they have. Not because, oh, well, they lost this was a good loss, this was a bad loss, and everything else, and they're just going to stay right there because, yeah. No. There was literally Florida sold the bag against LSU and they only dropped once. And I called it out, y'all. Remember, I literally called it out. I said, Florida, literally, the only reason why they stayed there is because they're going to have a top 10 matchup against Alabama to prove Alabama's case. And I knew it, and I called it. Literally, it was like, what, a 1 versus 7 matchup? There should have been a 1 versus 11 because I don't see how a ranked 6 Florida Gators team stays in the top 10 after losing to an unranked LSU team. Down people. That's it. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So it was like literally like, all right, what are they trying to do? And what's the situation? But this would not go for any other team. That only went for a SEC bias type team or anything else. Not saying that there's always SEC bias, but dude, come on now. The fact that Georgia was still ranked, I don't care. Teams like that shouldn't have been ranked at that time. And I stand by that. Now look, if they actually made the case, I would not complain. But the fact of the matter is that was all SEC bias. Georgia gets blown out by Florida and Alabama and doesn't have a single quality win, but still gets to stay in the top 10 because their only losses were to Alabama and Florida. So then the college football committee is basically saying that losses don't matter as long as you lose to good teams. But it didn't help anybody else in that situation. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all got to realize that you got to see that BS from a mile away. It's not me complaining about it. It's not me, saying, oh, well, this is BS and everything. Well, they got to do better and everything. Well, it kind of is. But if you get what I'm saying, we got to call that mess out in advance because, dog, that's one of the reasons why it leaves a little bit of like open space of, wait, so what's actually going into this ranking process? Like I said, y'all, they can't just keep on, unranking or dropping down Cincinnati for their reasons, even though they keep on winning, and use that same situation to make Ohio State go up. Yes, Ohio State beat Clemson and did what they had to do, but then they got murdered against Alabama. So really, what difference did it make? That's how I feel about that. I feel that we gotta start being way more, accepting of group of 5 teams that actually do what they're supposed to do on the schedule. Remember, y'all, scheduling goes years in advance. So understand, if they don't have a good team that they're facing, guess what? That's on, scheduling ahead of the time. You can't really get mad at them because they didn't schedule, what the other team else has scheduled. You know what I'm saying? You can't really come at them that way because at the end of the day, somebody's going to schedule somebody else and then it's just going to work out. TCU and Boise State. TCU and Boise State had ranked matchups against Oregon State in separate years and did what they had to do. At one point, Boise State had a ranked matchup against Georgia in advance, and that mess worked like a charm. You think they really, just said, all right, boom, schedule them. That's gonna help. Easy. That had to happen in advance. So they had to make sure, they had to hope that that team was going to be ranked at the time while still doing what they were supposed to do. Teams like that would have had a great chance in the college football playoff. TCU won a Rose Bowl shutting down Wisconsin offense. What was that score in the Rose Bowl? 21-19? Dude, one of the best defensive performances in Rose Bowl history. That team did that. That 2011 TCU team. Or 2010, I mean. But, dog, they did what they had to do and everything. But you really got to start thinking to yourself, if you don't expand the college football playoff, how many more missed opportunities are going to keep happening? Just like how they were in the BCS. Like we said, y'all, the college football playoff should have been expanded and should have happened a long time ago, if we're being 100% honest. It's just the fact of who's at the head front of the, NCAA, who's actually agreeing on stuff, because y'all just can't, keep on having, what's the word I'm looking for? We can't keep on having, old men in the college football playoff that don't know what's good for business at this point. They'll be like, oh, we don't want to expand it because we don't want to keep wasting money. Well, NCAA, y'all put most of y'all money into football, so what really makes a difference? You get what I'm saying? And understand, they got scholarships to football, for football. Don't ever sit there and be like, oh, what would these kids be ready for an NFL season for? I mean, they are doing college while managing schoolwork, workouts, post-workouts, pre-workouts, sleep, gym, all that mess. So I don't think being ready for a 15, 16, 17 season is not really that hard to them. Well, it might be, so I'm not going to really assume. But on the other hand, I mean, if they weren't ready, then they wouldn't have done college football in the first place, or they would have left in advance. So I hate the fact that people say, oh, well, these kids ain't ready for a long season like that, so let's not even have them do that. No, don't assume. Dudes will be ready to do whatever the case may be as long as they know they have a chance. Same thing goes with that situation. I'm about to talk about that too. So the reason why this video was I even decided to make this video in the first place is because Mark Richt, former coach of the Georgia Bulldogs and the Miami Hurricanes, bro said it would be cool to do that because it would stop, you know, players from just leaving the season for bowl games that don't really matter. And I actually agree with that. I didn't think about it at first, but when I started thinking about it, dog, this is literally a perfect reason. See, some people in the comment sections was like, bro, he needs to shut up, bro, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he's a head coach. I would assume he knows what he's talking about. I think he definitely knows what he's talking about. TBH. Understand, if you keep on just having dudes just leave completely, they're leaving for a reason, because they're about to go to the NFL, 1, and 2, they don't have a chance at a college football playoff. The team already lost, what, 2-3 games, and honestly, if we're really thinking about the college football playoff, 2 losses is the magic number. If you lose 2, it's basically GG's. You don't have a chance. You literally don't have a chance. So it's like, oh, we either lose 2 games and not go to the playoffs, or we actually win the rest of these games and we go from there. But understand, if they lose those games, then it's like, okay, well, this is pointless. I literally seen Pittsburgh safety Paris Ford leave in the middle of the season because it was pointless. It was just like, all right, well, the team just let us down with what, 4 straight losses, 3 or 4 straight losses. Well, it's time to go. There's nothing here anymore. There's nothing to play for. And that's how it was. That's literally how it was. So, like, imagine if his team, you know, the Pittsburgh Panthers, actually wins their games that they're supposed to win and has a chance to win the ACC if they go against Clemson. Yes, I know that's kind of impossible at this point because Clemson is Clemson and Clemson always wins, LOL. But yeah, it's basically like that. It's basically like that. You would just imagine, okay, he's going to keep playing if he knows he has a chance at something bigger. That's why dudes leave nowadays. What's the point of playing if, oh, I'm not going to be in a college football playoff? Oh, what's the point of playing if I'm a high draft prospect and what, the NFL season starts in a few months, and you know, in a few months, end of summer, and I just get hurt? It would have been pointless over a game that wouldn't do me any favors. Of course. That's why you seen dudes like Jalen Waddle in the national title game coming straight off of a broken leg, like, no, I want to play. He might have only played 1 snap, but on the other hand, when there's actually something bigger on the line, they're going to risk that mess. They're literally going to risk that chance if it means a chance at something bigger. You know what I'm saying? So, understand, expanding the playoffs to 16, hey, maybe even 24, like I said. Y'all be sitting here talking about, oh, well, these college players wouldn't be ready for that long of a season. I mean, you figured the FCS already has 2014 playoffs. What do you mean? That's literally an excuse. I hate it when people do that. Like I said earlier in the video, we got to stop assuming that those players can't do it. Literally on a lower level, Division 1 FCS, they're doing what people have been talking about the FBS should be doing. So exactly what's the difference? What's literally the difference? They're in a lower level and they're doing it, but now all of a sudden, when we talk about the FBS, the Football Bowl subdivision, now all of a sudden it's an issue to go up playoffs? No, that's stupid. That doesn't make sense. I threw a pick. But it's only right that we expand to that amount. No, it wouldn't be too much. It would be perfect because then everybody would have a chance. And if anybody would have an issue with that, then they could just argue with their mom, all right? Because this is just a rant on my part, because I genuinely feel like this is something that has to happen, honestly, y'all. But so make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share this with your friends while you at it. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, the OG channel. Links in the description will be down below. But until then, it's the Kid Steel City Meech. I'm out.